Okay, so it's Monday morning. Let me put the lights on. I have put lights on. Tell you what, I'll put my filming lights on. I know. Yeah, okay, I didn't leave it running overnight so that I could come in first thing. I came in 5 minutes earlier and put it on. I just cut the first few minutes out. So, it's just a filmic technique to get you interested. It's 10 o'clock. The sun's out. It's beautiful out there. I've had 3 coffees and I feel a bit more human. I just put this away. Just listed it. It's just a remote. I bought the whole thing, a DVD player plus a remote, for I don't know, a couple of quid. Anyway, I tested it, and this is why I test things. Halfway through the first half hour of a DVD I was playing, it just blew. Just blew. When I opened it up, power board had a capacitor. They have this sort of Y-shaped triangular score mark on the top of the aluminium electrolytic capacitor, and it was blossomed, not entirely out, but had gone. Yeah. So obviously I'd taken the top off. I unscrewed a couple more screws and took this DVD out so I can either resell it or donate it or whatever. I'll just put this away. Everything little is going into 44.9 until it's full, and then I'm moving forward again. Right, so what did I sell yesterday? Everything sold on Saturday went out on Saturday. So I sold this. I think I'm right, just hold on a second. That might have sold on Saturday night. I'm going to move my laptop. Yes, actually, this was Saturday afternoon after the postage. So this was the last thing of the week last week, $9.99. It's a CD case for your Ford. You can put 10 CDs in it. And it's got a nice zip-up edge and Ford embroidered in. So it's a genuine Ford product. That's gone for $9.99. But luckily, it cost me 50p. Yeah, I'm getting to the point where I'm not interested in buying things now, really aren't, that are going to sell for that sort of money anymore. I was going to look for my knife, but it doesn't matter. Unless I'm getting it dirt cheap. And when I say dirt cheap, I mean really, really dirt cheap. Because it's like video games. At least with the video games, it's not £3 a post. But even the 30%, the 30 pence plus VAT transaction fee, and the whatever it is, 0.45% compliance fee, I think it's called, plus VAT, adds up to about 40 pence. On a 10 pence item, that's 4%. Yeah. Well, I can tell you exactly because I've got the bloody thing up, and haven't I? Yeah, it's a bit of a drain on resources for this small stuff. If it takes you 10 minutes, even if it just takes 10 minutes to list, that can be a huge amount off what you're really making. Transaction fees, £1.14, ad fee, 26 pence. At least it didn't sell on an offer, eh? I probably had a 5% offer on at some point as well. 5% sent out. I'm currently trying not to send offers on anything under £5, so I'll weed them out when, say, 9 offers come up. I'll weed the ones at £4.75 out. But £10. I didn't used to send offers on £10, but these days, you've got to really. You've got to have some vision. You've got to have some traction. God, this is boring, isn't it? Don't turn off. There is some interesting stuff coming. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll wrap this. That's some sort of interest in it. Do you know, it's still trying to find my funds and how much it charged me. All right, here we go. It charged £1.14 in transaction and the 26p in fees. So £1.14, it's under £1, isn't it? It's under £1 on a £10 item. Plus VAT, of course. It must have been in a low percentage category. Now, I don't know. Do you sell everything household? Do you sell everything collectibles? Do you know that some categories charge you a lot less per item? So it was $9.99 at 6.9%, 69p. And then there was a top rated seller discount because it had free post. Yeah, $9.99 free post that was. Which is 10% off. So I actually only paid 62p in fees. It's pretty good. However, there was also a 0.35, said 0.45, and it's 0.35% regulatory, not compliance, regulatory fee, which is 3p. So it came at 65p. Then there was 30p final value fee, fixed amount. So that's another 50% roughly on top of all the money, the transaction, the real commission, leaving me. Then I paid VAT on that lot, so it was £1.14. But yeah, this was in a 6.9% commission category, as opposed to an 11.9% commission category or a 10% commission category. Don't forget, that's 11.9% plus 0.35%, plus 30p, plus VAT. And then, of course, ad fees. And the ad fee was 26p, which is 2.2% plus VAT. So 62%, 62p commission and 22p ads. Anyway, all added up to £1.40 out of 10. So that's 14%. It's actually not as bad as all that because of the low commission category. And the category it was in was blank media accessories, media cases, sleeves and wallets, drives, computers, networking and tablets. Tablets and networking, sorry. That is a low, that as a the computers, tablets and networking and everything under beneath it are low commission categories. Yeah, low commission categories. Worth looking into if you don't know. Do you just source and then think about putting it in which category it goes into? Or do you say, these categories will save me 30% of my commission, or the commission I would have paid if there weren't low commission categories. That can pay for an awful lot of things like promotions, transaction fees, regulatory operating fees, and VAT. Private sellers aren't paying those things anymore. They just pay their, what do they call it? Buyer protection fee. Thank you, Vinted. Yeah, okay. We call it VBay. Vinted on eBay. Von eBay. Right. Fees for business sellers. Here we go. Final value fees. How we calculate the final value fees. Final value fees by category. Low commission categories. And don't forget, I don't do off-site ads or the extra promotion. I just got a very low promotion on a lot of things, not on everything. And I've started doing the first few days on virtually everything unpromoted to see whether it'll sell by being in that newly listed bonus. I don't think it's that much of a bonus anymore. I mean, I'm selling on a lot of video games and I see more people who are private selling video games. Not in total, I would say overall, the ones at the top of search are private. The ones at the top of search when you put solds in are privates. I think that because they've had this new scheme of private sellers, they are really, really doubling down on promoting private sellers. Business office industrial, I used to sell a lot in business office industrial back when I was selling retail, 11.9%. However, I used to dual list in two categories. If you dual list in two categories, what happens is you get charged the highest rate, whichever category you sell from. If somebody's looking at DIY and home and you've got listed in business and office, they get charged the business and office rate even if they're in the category DIY and home when they buy it. Cameras and photography, 9.9%. I'm all right with that, except for camcorders, digital cameras, film photography, so that's film cameras, lenses and filters, 6.9%, up to 1,000, 3% after 1,000. I don't think I've ever sold a camera for more than 1,000. I don't think I've ever sold a camera for more than 300. Anyway, that's beside the point. Clothes, shoes and accessories, 11.9%. This is because they want their cut of the fast fashion money. Same with shoes, trainers, 7% if it's more than £100, because they wanted the high-end trainers. £100, I can see that coming off now and going up to maybe 150 because, let's face it, low-end trainers are 65 quid a pair. Coins, 10.9%, with 3% over 450. I think when I started on eBay, it was 6.5%. It may have been that it was 7.5% and it went down to 6.5% over 40. I can't remember. It's that long ago. Collectibles, 10.9%. Emerging NFTs. Now, let's face it, right? NFTs haven't been a thing since COVID because everybody knows they're a scam. You can't buy crypto on eBay. Why would you want to buy NFTs on eBay? Non-sport trading card NFTs. Anyway, it's 5%. Digital trading cards of things that aren't sports cards. It's a bit specific, isn't it? Computers, tablets and networking, 9.9%, except for virtually everything. Desktops and all-in-ones, drives, storage and blank media, enterprise networking servers, tablets and ebook readers, laptops and netbooks, printers, scanners and supplies. They're all 6.9%. 6.9%. Because this is in drive, storage and blank media storage. 3% above £1,000. Well, it costs 10, so there you go, £9.99. Crafts, 12.9% now. If you make your own gear, 12.9%. Event tickets, I can understand, 12.9%. Dolls and bears, 10.9%. Films and TV, 9.5%. Except for NFT films, 5%. Because they believed that there was going to be huge market in them. And they were just going to slice their 5% off the top without doing anything because it was all digital media. Garden and patio, 10.9. Health and beauty, 10.9. Hair extensions are 11.9. Don't know why. Electronic smoking, 12.9. Now, is that them saying they don't really want to deal in it? Possibly. Holidays and travel, 7.9. Except for things over 650, you get a discount. It's 3% for that bit. Home furniture and DIY, except the categories below, 11.9%. Now, when I was selling retail, this was 5%, this section, because everywhere else was 10%, don't forget. But you paid VAT on it, so it was 6%. but then I could claim VAT back because it was VAT registered. And 7.9% for anything over 500. Well, with home furniture, there's a good chance it could be, except for, like I said, home furniture and DIY, appliances, DIY tools and workshop equipment. Again, this was one of the things I sold. 6.9% now, it was 5 then, but 6.9% with 3% over 400. A DIY tool could easily be over 400, so that is a good category to be in. Power strips and surge protectors, 9.9%. Why? Who knows? Furniture, bath and plumbing and fixtures, 10.9% up to 500, 7.9% up to 1,000 and 3% over 1,000. 14.9% for jewellery and watches. They want their chunk of that. 4% over 1,000. Watch parts, 12.9%, 3% over 750. These are just arbitrary. They've just come up with these. Don't get me wrong, it's been there a long time. Mobile and smartphones, 6.9% over 1,000, 3%. Suppose they do a lot of business on mobile phones. Music, 9.9%. Music NFTs, 5%. And it goes on like this. Musical instruments, 10.9%. Pet supplies, 12.9%. Pottery, 10.9%. And glass. So when I went from retailing tools to selling pottery and other collectibles, which is why my name's Retro Collectibles, ceramics, glass, you know, that sort of middle level pottery, which is what I started with back on eBay once I got rid of my retail. It was a big chunk. A big jump up in commissions. Sound and vision, 9.9%, except DVD, Blu-ray, home cinema, which is 6.9%. So now you see, I'm selling quite a lot of DVD, Blu-ray, home cinema. Headphones, 6.9%. Hi-fi, separates, and small audio, 6.9%. Televisions, yeah, I've got a few of them at the moment. And I've just, actually, I got another one yesterday, which I'm going to put on a stand in a minute. And I still have this one, but it is too small for the sales roundups. So I'm going to move it.
12 seconds later.
It's too small for my sales roundup, but it's too big for my testing bench. But I got a nice 32-inch LG yesterday. Vehicle parts and accessories, 8.9%. Tyres, 7.9%. I'm not going to deal in tyres. 6.9% for GSP and sat-nav devices. I know people sell them, but really? I've got Google Maps. Why would I buy one? 9.9% video games, except for consoles, which are 6.9%. Yeah. With 2% for anything over 400. Wholesale job lots, 12.9. Everything else, 12.9. Memorials and funerals. I didn't know you could buy a funeral on eBay. 11.9%. So there you are. The big winners are power tools and equipment, 6.9%. Vehicle parts and accessories, 8.9%. DVD, Blu-ray, headphones, home audio and televisions is only 6.9%. Mobile and smartphones are only 6.9%. Appliances, DIY tools and workshop equipment, 6.9%. You see where I'm going with the DIY? When you were selling for 6.9%, it was best, and I did this a lot, to sell in 2 sections, provide a broader interest. But what I would do would be put them into sections that had the 6.9 in, not the 11.9. Well, it was 5 and 10 then. I would put mine in vehicle parts and accessories and DIY as 2 sections. You could get something taken off by putting it in the wrong section, wrong category. But if you were selling a drill, it can certainly be used in the home or on a car. If you were selling sandpaper, same. If you were selling anything that can be done for restoration of metal, both categories. Sometimes there was no option and I had to put it in the business, office and industrial, and I would pay twice as much in commission because I put it in that. And you had to factor that in when you're buying something. You have to buy it for either 5% less or accept the fact that you're going to make 5% less, which just went into my algorithm because that's how I selected goods at the time. I didn't go manually looking at the goods. I downloaded a spreadsheet from the manufacturer. I put my algorithm into how much I would make by each sale, ran it through and picked the top 20 and bought them because that is how you do it. Okay, I better label this. More energy today, no sitting. I'll stand a stand here and put the bigger TV on in a minute. well, it'll be a minute for you. I've got 3 more things to wrap first. What are the things that I've got to wrap? And this is why I'm cutting things today. One, I've already sworn twice. Yeah, you might not, well, you won't have seen those because YouTube are not shadow banning anybody. They don't do that, do they? I wouldn't accuse them of doing that. No, what they're doing is not promoting you as heavily when they discover things like that. Okay, so that's the first one. I also have 2 video games and a memory card. 481 and 364. Okay, so 481. 481. Bus to Move 2 for the Sony PlayStation, £5.95. I get about £3, but it cost me £2. If you remember, I bought this last week. So fairly quick. And Wolfenstein: The New Order, £9.99. Let me have a look at the order details on this one. £9.99. Transaction fees £1.47. Postage £1.90. Actually, it might even be less than that because it's very light. It's 91 grams. I'm not going to get that into an envelope for under 100. Not the envelope. 106. Yeah, these are 15, 16 grams. Okay, so yeah, £1.90. That still leaves me £6.62. And luckily, it only cost me £1. So there's good margin on it. Right, bit of tape across the back and the label's got something to stick on. We'll send them together. Postage labels. They're both 250 large letters. Print labels. So really, what I should do is magically appear them with labels on, or rather, appear to the fact that they've got labels on and you can't read them. Print. And I've got one other thing, a memory card. Well, that's printed. SanDisk Ultra 16 gig. With my fingers over the addresses. There you go. Right. That's that done. That's that one done. Got one more. Something to stick it in. Make sure it's centered and not going to get round the edges of the envelope where it might get stamped on or something. Nice. There you go. 87 pence now, not 85. Ooh, those post office people. Nickel and diming us to death. Right, I'm going to get my stand and my TV. I'll leave it running and then I can edit out the bits I don't want you to see. I've got my carrier bag with my masses and masses of Monday postage. With any luck, no, it's too late now. I'm not going to be messing with anybody else's postage this morning. I was going to say somebody else might buy something, but I'm going to get the stand and then I'll bring the TV in.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
Right, so this isn't exactly the right thing for it, and it's a bit rounded on top. But it's just the right size and height for my visual aid when I get it. Now, bear with me if it doesn't work at first, because I haven't tested it yet. I just got it out of the car. I got it yesterday.
5 minutes later.
That's quite stable like that. That's not bad, is it? Can you see it all right? No, it's a bit low, isn't it? I'll move the camera down in a minute and probably sit, and then I won't have to crouch. Contrast brightness is on at 50%. That's no good, is it? That is surprising. The difference is massive, isn't it? Okay, so paid and dispatched last week. Now, can I expand that up? Doesn't look like I can. Not that many sales last week. So, first, Hasbro Bop It. You saw this when we packing video last Sunday. Good profit though. £24.15. Obviously there was postage involved, but £19.95. It actually came to £16.73. After everything, it cost me £2, so it was £14 profit. Next, £14.24. A power supply for a laptop. I believe it was Asus, HP, and Acer, Asus, and HP. A Hornby fuel tanker. Now I have listed the last one of these I've got, but it turned out it only had one axle. So I've listed it spares a repair, no axle underneath. It needs, in need of renovation is rather than spares a repair. Just needs an axle clipping in. If you've got a Hornby set, you are likely to have the axle because they're all the same size because it fits on your Hornby. So it's not too much of an imposition. Anyway, I got £22.03 for that. Not bad. £4.74 for some a video game, Need for Speed, The Run. Wi-Fi's not doing very well today. All right, next. This was nice. Or nicer anyway. If the Wi-Fi works and I get the picture up. Kenwood Chef KM201 mixer. Just imagine a white mixer there, right? Oh, sick. How about I just expand the size of it up to about 150%. 175%? There you go. You can just about see it there, can't you? Ah, it's come up now. There you go. I can probably expand it down again. There we are. Lovely. That's good. That's good. A mixer. It had the K beater. It had the dough hook. And it had inside there, if I scroll it down a bit, it had the balloon whisk. So those are the three things you need to have really when you're selling a Kenwood. I mean, you could sell it without them, I suppose, and you could charge a lot less. It was pat tested. I bought this from the tip shop. Sorry, the reclamation centre. March 25. It actually was about a month old. I did ask for discount because they meant to give you discount after 2 weeks if you ask, up to 10%. They wouldn't budge, and they had it on at £25. So yeah, I didn't make as much as all that because I sold it for £55 plus postage, and I charged £9.99 postage. But it actually came to about that because it went in 2 big boxes and lots of bubble wrap. £6.95 postage, so, or £6.95, £6.59, whatever it was. I sent it Royal Mail 48 so that I could insure it properly. Could have sent it UPS, but it was a bit of a strange shape, and they're like a nice square box. They keep telling you that every time you list something. Next was another power supply. This was another one of those 60p ones from about 3 weeks ago. Oh, that's not, it's meant to expand. There we go. Oh, that one's expanded. Anyway, 60p into £14.95 free post. So it wasn't too bad. There's commission and there's postage off that. It leaves me just over a tenner, I think. This was a nice pickup. IKEA handmade white glass vintage 1990s. I got this at the same time as the mixer, but I didn't pay as much. I paid, I think £6.50, and I charged £26.50. So, and then after I'd bought this, the next Sunday I got another one exactly the same, except it had a few little marks in the glass. This didn't have, I think it had maybe one mark in the glass. If you don't know, it's clear glass and it's painted on the inside. It's not white glass, which means, of course, if people throw things into it, it can scrape the inside. Yeah, and it does act just like a bowl. People could throw keys into it and it would scrape the glass, scrape the paint, not the glass, on the inside. Anyway, this one was really nice. £26.50, £30.70 posted. Yeah, very nice. Next, another battery charger. Yeah, that is the third one. All three that I bought for 60 pence, 60 odd pence each, 3 for £2, wasn't it? Sold inside the week or so, after I'd listed them. And I got £15.19 for that one. Why did they pay so much postage? Oh no, sorry, it is £4.20. That was £11, isn't it? It's £10.99. So that's £11, and that's £15.19, £4.20 more. So that's normal postage rate. Yeah, not bad at all. Hitman Absolution off the multi-listing. Yeah, fair enough. That was £3.99. Yeah, it hadn't sold much of those lately. I've got one up for £5. I've sent an offer out on one this morning, actually. Wouldn't normally send an offer on one of those, but it was up at £5.29. So I sent it 10% off, which will be more than that, but it was on a single listing. This was from some Lego. I bought 2 bags of Lego about 3 weeks ago. All different colours, a lot of boards. Yeah. There was a lot of Lego Friends colours type of things as well. And this is a lot of this is Lego Friends, but it's also exactly the same as the Lego Star Wars Tatooine stuff. So same colour, exactly the same colour, sand. So I sold it as tan sand to somebody who likes the Lego Star Wars. Now this is 2 or 3% of 2 big bagfuls of Lego that I got for 25. So I've got £11.95 plus postage back, which I'm pretty pleased with actually. I've got to get the other listings on. I've bought different boards like this. This was the biggest bundle. This is why I did this one first. And obviously the sand is quite in demand. Some of them are light blue and dark blue, pink and purple, which was Lego Friends, like I said, green, and it's a sort of apple tree green, you know, mid green, not real light, not real dark, sort of in between. Fair enough. So yeah, I will be making up bundles in colour like that. People are selling 6 of these little boards for like £6 plus postage. Kid you not. Anyway, they got 47 for £11.95. Next is this is nice. I really took care to clean and test this properly because I was enjoying myself that afternoon. The 23rd of April 25. So that's been on, so just over a month it took to sell. That's not too bad. 2.5 kilos. I cleaned this with the shower because it's nice and hot and soapy, and then I washed it down and let it sit in the sun, and all these little lovely clean rings appeared, as you can see. I had noticed them on other people's listings. You couldn't see them when I bought it. It was just black. and I thought it was just a black thing. But when I saw the people's listings, I noticed there was marks available. So I took care to clean it without fraying the edges or anything like that. And then once it was dry, put it back on, polished it up, and I do believe it did have one of those with the power supply. Didn't have a remote, sold it without one. Nice though. And yeah, this one cost me £2 and I sold it for £21.37. This one cost 50p. This was one of the ones I said to you, there's a really good margin in these. I haven't sold the grey one yet, but the yellow keys one, remote 88, the one that I put in the box over there was remote 90. So I've listed 2 remotes since I did this one. No, forget it, doesn't matter. Anyway, £22.99 free post. Obviously there's £3 postage off that, there's commission off that, but it costs 50p. Anyway, LMA Manager 2006. Do you know what I should do? Open all these pages in tabs like I did previously, copy them over. I just thought it'd be easier to do it like this, and I was wrong. Right, there you go. In focus, LMA Manager 2006, PS2 game, £5.95. This is a 30-40p to me game, so I made a couple of quid after all the fees. This is a little guitar practice amp. It's been on a few days. 20th of May it was listed, and it was all right. It took me until the 19th of May to test it because I didn't have a guitar, and my brother, who's well into his guitars, is miles away. None of the neighbours have got one. I waited until I could get a working microphone that I knew worked. So £13.25, it only cost me, it was either £2 or £3, £20.20. I charged plenty of postage on this, £6.95. And it says 5 kilos there, but it was actually only about 3.5 kilos. And then the thing that's going out this morning, the DVD case. And that's it. 15 items, £299. Pretty slack week, really. Considering it's the end of the month, or at least it was. It's now June. These £300 weeks aren't doing it for me. They really aren't. I mean, I'm financially sound, but you can see it's going to be eroding my financial soundness over time. Luckily, that's about 60% profit, so it's not as bad as it looks, but it's still half what I want out of every week or less. There was a time when I was doing £3 a week on the retail side or more. At my top peak, I was doing over £4 a week, but the percentage profit margin was a lot less. I mean, £4 a week at 60% would be nice, wouldn't it? It's not possible to do retail and get that sort of slice of the action. Just not it. It's just not. I could have sold twice as many items, 15 items out of the 250 odd that I've got listed, plus the multiples, obviously, that have got like 60 listings on or 70 listings on a video. Plus my stuff on Vinted. I sold, I think, 4 things on Vinted last week. It's not even worth mentioning what they were. It added up to under 20 because they're cheap. Currently, everything I put on Vinted is dirt cheap, and the idea is to get rid of it quickly. And if it's dirt cheap and it's hanging around for 3 months, it's really just, it's going back in a box and it's going to a carbo event. I need to do that, actually. I've got boxes full of stuff like that, and some of it gets donated. I need more money. No, let me go this way. I would like more money. Yeah, that's the way to put it. I want more money for what I'm doing, and the way to do that is higher value items. What did you think of my TV? £5. I said earlier, didn't I? The remote works, the TV works. This is an advertising label's been on here, and it's obviously not come off very well. Clean that, but it looks like they've tried to scrape it off with a knife or a key or something. It's all scratched all the way around where they've put the things in. So that needs a right good polish. The rest of it seems fine, but just here, really disappointing. They wanted a tenner. I asked her for £5, and she's like, go on then. And obviously it's working fine. I do have one that's this size and a smart TV. So if I had that on an arm, I could probably stand up and do it as well. Or a more permanent than this little wooden stand. I'll put this one back in the house, because if it falls off this, it will be damaged. It's simple as that. It's concrete floor, as you know. I've got the rubber mats down, but that's not the point. it's still going to smash it to bits. So what I'm going to do is disconnect this, take those 4 bits to the post office, bring in what I've got. I'll tell you this afternoon what I bought yesterday. Yeah. Speak to you soon.
3 hours later.
Hello again. It's me, Pete. Welcome back, my valued viewers, or welcome to the video, my valued viewers, if you jumped straight to the pickups. I know some people do. I'm not going to judge you for it. That's fine. If you just watch a bit of my video, you're good. You're all good with me. Pickups, North Cave and Hull, as usual. It was really, really busy. Wasn't much in the way of gaming pickups, unfortunately. One of my friendly rivals was actually selling PlayStation 2 with some games when I got to a stall, and it turned out he was behind it with his partner. But he kept saying, oh yeah, the drawer, it only sticks some of the time and you just tap it. You know, it can be a bit sticky. It was a PS2 fat, and it had buzzers and microphones, but more than one set, and all the games were either SingStar or buzz games. I felt like it was really bottom of the dregs, so I didn't bother. It was probably fine, but I've got PS1s, PS2s to be getting on with. I've got 3 PS1s and some broken ones to list. I've got 2 broken PS2s already. I'll just tell you what I did buy and then we'll go from there. So the first thing it says here, Playmobil Advent Calendars. I got this one, and it's all there except the car. But the car is in this one. So that's good. And everything else is in this one as well. You get a little sort of cardboard diorama as well, so that you can set it all up if you want to. There we go. Yeah, £3 for the 2. I think they'll probably be going on Q4. These are opened and used, but they've all got all the parts, including things like the Santas, the reindeer. Is there a reindeer? Yeah. And sled, gnomes, not gnomes, elves. Gnomes are what go in the garden. Yeah, garden gnomes. Okay. Then there was this, which was nice. Let me just lift it up. Iowa Hi-Fi, and it's working. The tape, as usual. Wait, I'll just play the CD. CD's working fine. If I can get it to work. I even put the speakers on, connected them so that you could tell it was working. And now it's not taking any fun out of the issue. Oh, it's away in it. Maybe it's holding it up sideways. There you go. It's got lights and all that. But if the CD's not working, sorry, the tape's not working, the CD's working fine. I don't care whether the tuner works or not. It seems to tune in, but it's not. No, sorry. It's producing sound out of the tuner, but it's not tuning. But it doesn't matter anyway. That's enough. That's about 3 seconds. I don't think I got a copyright strike on that. It does have Club Anthems of 2002 in it. It probably would be a copyright strike if I played more than 3 seconds. So that's working. But what mattered was these speakers that came with it. They're nice Iowa speakers. They've got nice grills. A bit dusty. But yeah, 2 speakers. Nice white interior, little tweeter. Bit dusty on the back, a few spider's webs. Both of them are nice though, without scratches all over the place. So they were £5. I say they because I won't be selling the CD player. The tape player is built into the CD player, if you see what I mean. And that's not working. It's got one of those special heads that swivels around and plays from either direction, but it's just not doing that either way. It's already chewed up the tape that I put in, but it was an Anne Breen tape. For, if you don't know, that's she's an Irish singer. From what date? Doesn't matter, does it? Doesn't matter. Where was I? Ah, yes. Next. That was not bad. LG TV. Notable by its absence. I have taken it back in the house. That was a £5 as well. You've seen it working. If you haven't and you jumped straight into here, watch the first half. About 10 minutes ago. Then there was Libra. Oh yes, Libra. Where's that? Here we go. Libra scales. They look like that, but they have a brass thing here and a brass scoop here and a load of little brass pieces when they're full. Well, they are full. Yeah. So I've got a brass scoop, needs a clean, to go in one side, and a brass plate to go on the other. And we've got all the little nice brass weights with little sort of hooks on the top to make them look nice, I suppose. We've got £1, 8 ounces, 4 ounces, 2 ounces, 1 ounce. That's a ½ ounce, and that's a ¼ ounce. So there must be a pound. Oh, yeah, there must be an ounce somewhere in the bag. There we go. So that's all of them. £1, 8 ounces, 4 ounces, 2 ounces, 1 ounce, ½ ounce, and ¼ ounce. So you can basically measure out 3/4 ounce or an, you know, sort of £1.50. I have seen plenty of metric versions, but that's the old version before metric imperial. So that's nice. It dates it pretty well. And that was from the same people as the Hi-Fi, and it was £8. They wanted 10, but they accepted 8. I also got these lamps off them as well. These two. They're both nice vintage lamps. Got a nice base and a sort of rocket design shape. They've got LED lamps in, but electrical connector. And this one is called a Zephyr brushed desk lamp, brushed chrome. But it's not IKEA, it's somebody else. Fair enough. But it's a good looking lamp, isn't it? So I'm going to sell that as a vintage desk lamp. Let me put that down there on top of the bin, not in the bin, on top. And then another one, seamless style. It's got a little arm for adjusting it, but it's got the flexi head, and it's got one of those incandescent spotlight. Well, it's failed. I'll just put another little golf bulb in. Really clean, really tidy, very shiny, all the chrome's clean, and it's got a nice molded plug. And that one's from Searchlight Electric Limited, 2020. So it's not vintage, that one, but it's not bad at all. Good design, that's the main thing. Should sell easily. They were £2 each. Not bad at all. I always get this whenever I see it, really. As long as it's nice and cheap. This was 50p. It's a bit rough. It's not. There's not as much on it as I'd like. But I get through loads of it, so fair enough. And then I got Only Fools and Horses the game. Well, this was a bit of a fail. Turns out they're selling for about £6.99 complete, and if you include delivery, we're talking about a tenner. It's in really good nick, and I think it is complete. I haven't actually checked every card. but it seemed okay. But yeah, I paid £2 for that, and I think that's about £1.50 too much, really. When you're selling something for a tenner, we've been through that this morning. Oh, and this was nice. Oh, you can't see it. I'll hold it up. I saw a couple of these. Guy was just putting them on his table, and I said, "Oh, Harry Potter books. Are those hardbacks?" He says, "Oh, yeah, yeah." So I said, "All right. I don't suppose you got any more, have you?" He says, "Oh, yeah, I've got more. Full set. First editions." So I said, "Oh, how much are they?" £2 each. And he tried to throw in a paperback as well for £16. And I said, "No, it's all right." He said, "Oh, one of them's got me daughter's name in. It was the paperback. These are all unwritten." So that's great. And they're all first editions. This one is 29th printing. Yeah. Obviously, the best ones, it's got a different picture on the back. And they've got mistakes in. This is printing 29. Yeah. Never mind. So that's probably worth 11 quid on its own. But I'm not going to sell it separately. I'll sell it with them. A couple of them have, well, I think that one's the one with the issues. But I do have a selection of ones that I've been waiting for. No, it's not that one. To get matching books. One of these has got a bit of a rip in the actual spine. Could be Harry Potter, this one. Yeah, it is. Little bit of a rip there. Goblet of Fire. I think I've got about 3 of these. But I didn't have a full set of first editions before now. So it may well be that I'll leave that in if the other one isn't a first edition. But I think by the time you get to here, past Order of the Phoenix, they're all first editions. So I don't think it really makes, and they don't have the printing numbers in either, so I don't think it really makes a difference. It's only the first 3 that have the, whether it's the first edition and the printing numbers. Well, they don't say first edition and the printing numbers. By then, they'd got wires to it. They've just printed hundreds of thousands of them, probably millions, actually. There you go. Anyway, £14. They've been going for between 120 and 165 for a collection of hardbacks, first editions. Even if they have quality issues. So I'm pretty pleased with those. Oh, and further round, same car boot, different people. I've got these 2. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child and The Crimes of Grindelwald. They were for £1 each. Hardbacks in good nick. So I think I'll sell that as a bundle, the whole lot, including those 2 as well. I know that there's another one, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, but I don't have that one. Never mind. That wasn't bad at all. So yeah, that could be looking at 100 quid profit on that one. Right, then I left North Cave. All right, I didn't. I went round and round. You know, you do go back and forward, round and round. But I didn't buy anything else. That's everything I bought in North Cave. And I went to Hull and I started again. So I've got another light. This is nice, but it's not as nice. It's got the old bendy head again. It's a bit dirty and a bit marked. I think I'll be able to clean most of that off. I think some of them, I think that one there is a chip. And obviously it's got this weird CFL bulb in. Well, I'll just put a nice white LED bulb in there. A golf ball size one. Not one that's going to stick out like that. Anyway, did I test this one? I don't think I tested the other two. Just hold on a sec. Let's unplug the hi-fi, plug this in, and oh, it's working. Oh yeah, that bulb's no good, is it? Let's just unhook it. There we go. So that wasn't bad. There wasn't as much for me retro in Hull, but I did get some stuff. Games. I'll just do all the games at the same time. I got Grand Theft Auto 5. This has got 2 discs and a manual and a map. Those are both in really good nick. The install disc though, got a huge amount of laser burn on it. But I've said to you before, I've bought ones with just 1 disc in before and swapped them out. I'll give this a clean, but yeah, massive amount of laser burn. I don't know whether you can actually see. You see there's meant to be a ring around the outside, but there's 2 rings and one of them's laser burn. It's not burnt, you know. When you say laser burn, it's not burnt by a laser. It means it's gone round and round, and maybe the head of the laser assembly's been up and scratched it, or maybe there was a bit of grit in the actual holder when somebody put it in and scratched it. It's not burnt by a laser. Just let's get it straight. The lasers aren't strong enough for that. There is a slight ring mark on that one, but it's only in one part on the disc, and that would probably clean off really easy. It's very light. But that's okay. That's the install disc. Sorry, that's the game disc. The install disc is the one with the laser burn. So anyway, he wanted 3, and I said to him, look, disc's burnt. I'll have to get another disc. Will you do £1? He said, yeah, he'd do £1. So I got that for £1, which is good. I got Destiny 2 for the PS4 for 50p. Yeah, it's not a particularly good game actually. And last week I got some good games for £2. But you know, it's nice and clean. It is now anyway. It was a bit dusty. It's okay. This is a fresh t-shirt, and also this is a Blu-ray. And I got Uncharted 2 for 50p as well, because the case is broken. It's platinum, and so you really do need a platinum case. I suppose you could put it in a Blu-ray case, but it wouldn't look as nice. It's a platinum game, so it really wants to be in a platinum case. I think I've got some spare, I'm not sure, but it doesn't matter, it's 50p. So yeah, they're okay. And that was a good £2 spent. Next, USB 10 meter cable. Oh yeah, I went to the Amazon returns guy, and I got some cables. This is a rather long USB to USB micro, so that's perfect if you have a PS4 under the TV and right the way across the room in the armchair you want to sit and use a wired controller, as opposed to using a wireless controller that doesn't have a wire. Anyway, there's that. Or if you are using a USB power supply and you want to charge your USB lights, I've charged these today, so 10 meter USB-C cable. 10 meter, yeah. Anyway, those two cost a £5, so yeah, 10 meter, brand new. That's good. I don't think your signal's going to last much further than 10 meters further, but with a USB-C, it's a higher power and speed, but you can put up to 45 watts through a USB-C cable. Yeah, 45 watts. I think it's called PD, Not sure what the P and the D stand for. Power distribution or something. Anyway, that was a £5. That's equipment. Maybe I'll put the 5-meter USB micro cable in with something at some point. I've got 2 of these. Kenwood speakers. These are surround sound cabinets. You see the size of this? It's a surround sound. It's not a rear cabinet, it's a front cab. Left. And I've got right as well. It says that the same. I'll get it out. It's not exactly the same, it's mirror imaged, obviously. Look, your Kenwood's there and your Kenwood's there. See what I mean? It's not mirrored image either, because obviously the Kenwood's the different way around. Anyway, they were, I said to them, you know, how much is your Kenwood speaker set? And they said, oh, I said, oh, it's part of a surround sound. Have you got any more? They're like, no, we just got those 2. And they didn't have the mounts either, because they screw onto mounts underneath here. They didn't have those. So I said, oh, how much do you want from them then? £3? I'm like, £2? And they said, yeah. Okay then. So I'm probably going to look for somewhere like 25 to 30 on them, or somewhere in between. I did notice somebody had sold one for 30 for a pair. They're normally called CM5S or ES. Well, these are just CM5. I don't know whether there's any difference, but I'm just going to sell them for a couple of quid less because they don't say ES on the end. And yeah, cost me £2 though. Can't bad, can it? That's what I'm talking about with good markups. I got Samsung Blu-ray player for, because it's got no remote, £3. I'll have to plug it in and test it yet. It had an HDMI with a flexible end on both ends, but he said to me, oh, there's no remote. So I said, well, just bring the price down. He said, oh, how about £3? I'm like, yeah, all right then. That's a, what is it? BD D5500. I looked up the remote and they're about between £6 and £10. But the cheapest one I could see seems to be a television remote which will power it as well. I'm not sure I want that. That was only £3.39 plus delivery. Yeah, I know. I want one that's absolutely certain to work with it properly. So I may well just go for the £8 version that's delivered from China. That takes, or England for £10. I don't know which. It depends. It takes a while. But I'm not pushed for time on these Blu-ray players. Right. At the same stall, I got a BTU View, one of my favourites lately. Good money in these. This was £2 with a remote. But it didn't have a power supply. It does have the manual, but no power supply. Well, the power supply on those is about £9. So that would add up to 11, and they sell for a minimum of about 45. So I'm all right with that. But I did notice he also had, no, this was on the next stall along, a Zixel hub. And I thought, oh, right, 12 volt, 2 amps. That's what these are. That runs on 12 volt, 2.5 amps. And I thought, oh, I'll buy this and use the power supply. Well, it don't fit. It's a different type of power supply. It's the same size, but it's got a metal pin followed by a ring around the outside. Well, this is ring around the outside, ring around the inside with a hole in the middle as opposed to a pin in the middle. Yeah, So anyway, I bought that, and I bought 3 more because I know that the power supplies are useful anyway. They always come in handy. If I can't find one cheap for that, which I think I can, then I've got these, but I'll have to put a different socket on the end. These are both 12 volt 2.5, and this one's 12 volt 2. So I've got plenty of power supplies at the moment. I might even sell this one separately. Actually, it's for a I didn't say. One of them says what it's for. It's for a NVR. That one. And this one is Hub 2 power supply. So we know what that's for. A BT Hub 2. It's OEM. That's what it says here. OEM. And it's got the number on. Yeah, 202508 on the end. So it's the actual RTE version for a BT Hub 2. That's about £8. Anyway, that cost me £1 as well. They all cost me £1, those. Well worth having. And I got PlayStation 2 SRS, which is Street Racing Syndicate. Quite a nice game. Well worth having. I don't know what it's worth anymore, but it's a bit scratchy. I said to him, look, it's a bit scratchy. How much is it? He's like, £2. I'm like, I'll give you 50p. Anyway, he had to consult his mate, and he's like, oh, he says it's really scratched. It is really scratched. You see the scratching on that? From this distance, it's difficult, but you can see it's not focusing anything. It sort of splays the light out. Anyway, it's very scratchy. I don't know whether you can get it to focus and see how scratchy it is. Yeah, you can, can't you? Look, it's scratchy. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong bit, aren't I? I'm focusing on the wrong end of the thing. You can see how scratchy it is now, can't you? See how that is scratchy? Yeah. I got all that off. Whether it plays or not afterwards is a different matter. And that cost 50p. I don't know, just have a look at a quick open that, and I put PS2 SRS. PS2 SRS Street Racing PS2. There we go. £16. However, it's disc only. Promo disc £11. That's not the same thing, is it? Really. Here we are, disc only £6.40. Oh, plus delivery from Canada. No, thank you. Let's have a look. Sold items. Box and manual, no disc, £5.92 plus postage. No disc. £6.71. That's with the disc. £13.99 is more like the price I was expecting. The last time I sold one of these, it was for the Xbox 360, and I got £29. There's one, £26.71, including manual and cover, obviously. Just looking to see if there's a £14.99, £12.67, just to see if there's any disc only here. Then it goes on to outside the UK. Let me have a look. Well, there's a disc only list, but it's not the same thing. I'll put disc only on it. Have a sip of my black coffee. I run out of milk again. I don't mind it, but I'd rather have milk in it. Doesn't seem like anyone's sold one that's disc only. I'll just have to make a price up. Probably 2/3 to a half of £13.99. Maybe £6.99 for that if it works. Maybe £7.99. something like that. Somebody sold one for £6.71. Music Magpie. Yeah, they do lost leaders. Even sometimes their discs are £39 for something that isn't worth that, and other times they've sold 3 for £6.70. It's out of stock and they're waiting for more in. When they come in, they'll put the price back up, I'm sure of it. I think it's just to drag people in to have a look. And in fact, the description's nothing like what they normally have. That's strange, isn't it? Music Magpie normally have a specialist listing with loads of graphics and things like that. This one's got 2 lines. May have some wear and tear or character depending on how you look at it. They've copied that from somebody else. It's not a Music Magpie listing. That they've copied that in to drag people in because they didn't have it in stock. Sometimes I wonder whether they're using their millions upon millions of listings just to drag people into their shop. But it does say they sold 3. But there again, saying that, they could have just changed the title in the description. Who knows? Is it underhand? Yeah. But let's face it, eBay's underhand. Business is dog eat dog. Can they get an advantage by listing loads more stuff because they've got unlimited listings? Yeah, of course they can. They've got a triple anchor store or whatever. They probably play a load of commission and they're not going to sell it, but there's loads of promotion on it. They're not going to sell it because it's not there. But there is listings and advertisements to their shop. Please visit our shop. Yeah, exactly. There's one thing that I haven't told you about. Actually, there's 2 things I haven't told you about. I'll tell you about them now. I got some Skylanders. That's just somebody's feet. Let's see if I've got the magnetic bit that goes on top. These are all swap force. The idea is that you can swap the top, and put them on different buttons in order to get different features. So for instance, the one with the wheel on the bottom and a sort of parrot with axes for handles on the top. Don't know what that's called. This one is a water version. This one's got a cloud. I think this is the one that goes with the cloud. No, that I'm wrong. This is the one that goes with the one that looks like it's got clawed feet. Clawed feet. Eagle-headed. Let's turn it round. There we go. These are all 50p each off a stall. This one's called something. It's out of the Spyro version one, and Giants. So that's the only one that wasn't mixed up with different bases on. I had to rearrange them all in order to get the right bases. So that one goes on to the octopus one, and this one definitely doesn't go with this, but that's what I've got left. Anyway, that was £3 for the 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6. And there's at least 4 complete there. The other 2, I don't know what to do with really. Doesn't worry me either way. A couple of them are worth about 6 or 7 quid, so I'm not, grumbling. And I got a calculator, a Casio calculator, an FX83 GTX class whiz, which cost me £1. Should sell for about £15. I've already listed it. No, tell a lie. I've done the listing. I haven't taken the photographs. It wasn't difficult to do the listing. You just copy somebody else's and put the AI description in. Right, thanks for watching. Get your own listings going on, and my main thing to this week is not to do all the mid price crap. Even the big video games, I'm just not going to do any this week, unless maybe there's a few on Vinted. I'm going to do the speakers, the other speakers, the DVD player, lighting, all that sort of gear. Yeah, anything that will sell for maybe £25 to £30 plus. And I have quite a lot of that. That other hi-fi that I got last month is working fine. Even the cassette player is working on that. And the 5-drawer CD player. It's not. I thought it was a cartridge that you put the CDs in. It's not. It's 5 separate drawers. Yeah. And they all work. That's surprising, isn't it? And a remote. Yeah. So I'm going to look for in the region of 100 for that. The TV I'm keeping for the moment. Not because I need it, but because it might be useful for more of what I did earlier on. Playmobil, that'll wait till Q4. So with the board game, the books will go straight out there. Or rather, they'll get listed this week. It's £100 plus sale, that. So yeah, they'll get listed this week. Kenwood speakers, they'll get listed this week. That's 30-ish. Sorry, 30-ish. BTU View. Yeah. I'll order, well, I'll plug it in, make sure it works first. And then, no, it's the power supply, isn't it? I have to order a power supply in order to plug it in and make sure it works. All right, that's what I'll do. I'll order a power supply. Yeah, I was going to order just the plug and attach it to one of those. But then I found out the plug's £6 and the power supply's £8. Who's going to be messing about for an extra £2? No, I'll just buy the power supply. Right, I'm waffling. Enjoy the rest of the week. Thanks for watching. Speak to you later. Bye.